This is my first faculty mark assignment under the course ASEAN 271, Indigenous People in ASEAN. The first part of my presentation is about the indigenous people of Malaysia. Indigenous people of Malaysia are collectively known as Orang Asli, which means original people in Malay. The Orang Asli is divided into the following groups: the Negrito group, the Sienoy group, and the Proto-Malay group. There are different approaches in identifying the indigenous people of Malaysia. The first approach is the historical approach. The Orang Asli are the original people of Malaysia. According to their history, they existed in peninsular Malaysia thousands of years ago. Thus, they are the known original people in this country. This is become the basis of identifying the indigenous people in Malaysia. Second is the legal approach. Existing laws regarding the indigenous people of Malaysia are based on the Malaysian Federal Constitution and the different legislative acts such as the Aboriginal Act of 1954, which ensure the protection of these people's rights to better compensation. The Malaysian government provides policies and programs aimed at promoting its education, healthcare, and economic development. Ethnographic assessment. This ethnographic approach documented the indigenous people, cultural practices, and style of governance, language spoken, custom, and tradition. Challenges and issues. The discourses about the within the indigenous people of Malaysia are is that despite the above approaches and legal identification of the indigenous people of Malaysia, there are still issues and challenges they face in the society. These issues are the land encroachment, lack of formal recognition of customary rights, and the bureaucratic hindrance increase their dilemma. Based on the information above, I can assert that the approaches employed by the Malaysian government to identify their indigenous people rely on various methods, primarily the historical, legal, and ethnographic approaches. However, the most dominant method they utilize is the legal approach. This is evident in the inclusion of the indigenous people's rights in the enactment of the Malaysian Federal Constitution and Legislative Act, such as the Aboriginal Act of 1954. In this approach, it is the state of the government of Malaysia that defines who qualifies to be called the Orang Asli of Malaysia. Nevertheless, the classification of Malaysian as indigenous people goes from historical existence as the basis for inclusion in this group. Despite the recognition and identity of the indigenous people of Malaysia, they face challenges in navigating their society. These challenges include limited access to education, health care, and protection of their customary lands. The establishment of palm and oil plantation and logging has resulted in the loss of their land, denying them the opportunity to utilize it for their benefit. This highlights the shortcomings of Malaysian law regarding the basic rights of each indigenous people. Although their identity is recognized by existing law, protection for their rights are insufficient to save them from exploitation. The second presentation that I have is that indigenous people in the Philippines. In the Philippines, as of 2010, there are 110 ethno-linguistic groups of indigenous peoples. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority 2020, this make up 10 to 20% of the population of the country. Article 2, Section 22 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines protect the indigenous people of the rights. Under Article 2, Section 22 of the Philippine Constitution, the state shall recognizes and promotes the rights of indigenous cultural community within the framework of national unity and development. Another one is under Article 13, Section 6. This part of the Constitution specifically protects the ancestral domain of the indigenous people of the Philippines. This particular provision shows the commitment of the Philippine government to protect the welfare and development of the indigenous people in our country, leading to social justice. Another one is the Republic Act 8371, known as Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act or IPRA law, specifically Chapter 4, Section 13 to 20. In the Philippines, the classification of the indigenous people is based on the legal approach. The IPRA law, specifically Chapter 4, Section 13 to 20 of Republic Act 8371, the Philippine government guarantee the right of indigenous people to self-governance and empowerment, which means the IP have the right to participate in the decision-making process on matters affecting their well-being. Under the IPRA law, the rights of indigenous people are protected when their ancestral lands are subject to development. The prior approval of the concerned indigenous communities must be secured before any project proceeds. That is based on the IPRA law. However, due to the limited understanding of modern technologies, indigenous people can sometimes hinder develop in their respective area. They often cause delay in the implementation of the project intended for their region. The agency that implement the IPRA law is the National Commission of the Indigenous People. It is the mandate of NCIP to protect and promote the interests and well-being of the indigenous cultural communities in the Philippines. Challenges and issues similar to Malaysian indigenous people. The Philippine indigenous people also possess problems related to land rights as well as inadequate basic services. However, when it comes to land rights, the indigenous people of the Philippines are protected under the IPRA law, preventing the abrupt loss of the ancestral land. Both the topic discussed, Malaysian and the indigenous people of the Philippines, are based on the legal approach, where the identity of this IP emanates from the state law. This is the authority that defines their identity and existence. This dominant approach by the government of the Philippines and Malaysia shows how they protect and support indigenous people in their respective areas. This law safeguards the rights and privileges of their IPs, preventing their exploitation and ensuring their welfare is well attended to. Moreover, the legal basis of Malaysia and the Philippines is supported by both the historical account and the ethnographic assessment of the inclusion of their IPs in the respective group. Basically, there is almost a similarity in style and process in the identification of indigenous people in the Philippines and Malaysia. Since their existence is governed by the respective constitutions and appropriate legislative act. But when it comes to the issue of land ownership, the indigenous people of Malaysia are inferior compared to the indigenous people of the Philippines. In Malaysia, the land of the indigenous people can be taken by the state. In the Philippines, it is prohibited as provided for under the IPRA law or Republic Act 8371. Thank you for listening to my brief presentation about the indigenous people of Malaysia and indigenous people of the Philippines. I hope you understand or learn something from my presentation. Thank you and God bless you all.